Hey people, Intred here, 3v3 Faction War. This is Arena of Ashes and the Orks versus Space Marines. For the blue Orky team, stuck in quarantine is a Kommando knob, an infiltrating hero that shoots you, stabs you and blows you up. Orky style begins with a twin link shooter, already being all sneaky like. Alongside Unununium as a Mekboy, a teleporting hero fighting in ranged combat with a bunch of versatile Orky gadgets. And rounding off the team, Brooks 94 as a Warboss, a melee hero walking through objects, very good offense, disruption and support from the front lines, the Goths elite scheme here. For the red team, double the force commanders, this is Venjitron. Looks like the Black Templars elite scheme recolored. And Sparkky with some Dark Angels DLC. These guys are versatile melee heroes with strong offense, support and disruption. And running away apparently. Rounding off the teams is Redgaarden the third with an Apothecary support hero fighting in melee combat by default. Begins with a heal and a passive health regeneration aura, manages to scare off the Warboss who was operating solo there. And the Space Marines have taken the southwestern contested victory point. A whole bunch of Orks show up though because Unununium's here now. Meanwhile, up in the northeast, have natural VPs in the east and the north. Been a while since you saw this map. Or Typhon Arena, of course, which this is based on. Sluggers getting caught, getting shotgun blasted, and maybe dying here. Okay, they're able to get away. Those two models are far enough away. Down in the southwest, the Orks take over the southwestern VP. Got Sluggers with burners. But, oh, nothing to bash. There we go. They put a node up. Fellas, there's a node there. There we go. Bashed and probably decapped. Straight into looters for stuck in quarantine. Some melee attacks. Is that on the... Yep, some headbutts on the scouts. But the Kommando needs to leave. Not sure what they were trying to achieve there. Should have just opened up and shot the scouts, I think, from cover. May have got a model off them. More scouts here. This is Sparkky showing up in the northeast. Oh, Sparkky is up here permanently, apparently, helping out Venjitron. Through the mid, that was Redgaarden trying to get through. This area sees a lot of action, typically, because they're trying to get through to the power. So you may see some flame attacks. No sign of any yet. Double tacks into Devastators for Sparkky. Redgaarden with double tacks as well. Double shooters for Unununium and Brooks. More gens up. That might be a bad time to get your gens up when you're just forced off. And there's Flamer on the Tactical Marines. Looters able to keep them at bay. Apothecary, though, gets through and then forgets what he's doing. Sluggers have found him. Can't heal himself and goes down. That was sloppy from Redgaarden. Oh, they were microing this, probably. Double tacks in melee with shooter boys. A fight they should win. Warboss runs. Devastator's helping out. But look at that. Fully bashed this power. Some Orks paid for it, it looks like. That got bashed and decapped down there. Full gens here for the Orks. And, oh look. Scouts sneakily stealing their VP. Double tacks into devs also for Redgaarden. Devs on capping duty. Fast capping tacks. Trying to grab the VP. Mekboy says no with a death gun. Double Storm Boys for stuck in quarantine. That may be an Overwatch mistake, the second one there. Double Storm Boys is madness. Madness, I say. Brooks replaces the Sluggers. I think that was them dying down there. 483 to 455. Where is it kicking off? Around here. Very narrow pathway. Storm Boys wipe already. But hey, they got some more right here. Looters not involved. Shooter Boys flee. Sluggers flee. Was that a flamer on both? Nope, just one flamer there. That was a massive blob of Marines, actually, they ran into. 3 tacks, Devastators, a whole bunch of scouts, and a Force Commander. Sorry, 2 Force Commanders. No wonder they died super fast. Triple War Banners up, providing some passive buffs so they can activate them for a longer lasting buff as well. Just before he gets stuck into some combat, perhaps. Sanguine Chainsword in for the Apothecary. Meanwhile, a bunch of duck up, catching some Marines on retreat, maybe wiping some scouts. Yes, scouts are wiped. Oh, Venjitron had a really bad fight there. Down to just tactical marines now. Did they have devastators as well? No, they had double scouts, I think. All their scouts died. Triple cap for the red space marines, though. Usually they start slowly, space marines, in the faction wars. Well, often they do. But this time they've been pretty good early on. Blobbing up in the northeast there. But Venjitron now needs to be carried a bit. And their allies have big armies, though, to do so. Apothecary getting suppressed by the loot, the death gun, I should say. But they're pushing up on the war banners. Apothecary still hanging out. Assault squad on the way for Venjitron. Does not go straight to tier 2 then. Apothecary heals himself and then runs away. All the war banners activated. I think that long activation gives a 5% buff. So I assume it stacks up there for a long-lasting 15% buff. It's like 30 seconds or something. 15% more damage. And I think some suppression resistance and things like that. In the north, the VP is turning blue again for the Orks, thanks to some Storm Boys who survived, and they did steal this as well. So the VPs will swap back to their natural states. Orks have stolen this power completely. Haven't noded it, though. That's a huge amount of power income all of a sudden. 67 per minute. More than 1 a second. Orks taking back the southwest. Bunch of Daka in the northeast. Sluggers wiping. Devastators barely getting away. Those were Unununium sluggers, I think. Maybe. Because Rakbrooks already lost their sluggers, I believe. Maybe they were new sluggers, though. Yeah, they do seem to be Rakbrooks colours. Warboss runs. Battle-crying Force Commander with Artificer for Venjitron. Gets in on the double shooter boys. It's a bit sloppy there from Rakbrooks. Should be moving these shooter boys around. Grenade. Kills... I think it actually only killed one of those shooter boys, the grenade. Pretty lucky shooters. 396 to 425. Tier 2s all round for the Orks. Venjitron, the last player to go tier 2 at some point here. Sparkky is down now, getting revived. They can push through onto the power and or the VP now, those Space Marines in the northeast. In the southwest, a standoff. And more war banners, apparently. Mekboy could just teleport up and melee the Devastators and just pour everything in, maybe. But I guess the double tax would be quite formidable. Although they do have sluggers with burners here. What's this? That is a Kommando trying to bash power, going for a special shooter, eh? 393 to 420 on the VPs. Using aiming, what's that, to suppress the devastated sluggers getting in. A couple of power weapons with those burners. Tearing up the Debs. Debs only have a lesser form of melee resistance, 20% rather than 40. So they don't like getting rushed like that. Oh, this Kommando went down here. The attacks run. They were trying to bash power, so they got one of the gens. And the Power Claw Warboss is in with spiky armor now. Orks overrunning the southwest VP. They should be able to grab it now. Although Apothecary and Force Commander and a bunch of Tax and... oh, Assault Marines showing up. These are Venjitron's units coming down southwest. Swapping with Sparkky maybe. There's a jump on the Mekboy. And for the Emperor thrown on them too. Global buff from the Force Commander, 25% more damage. But they couldn't hang out in there with sluggers, upgraded sluggers in there. It's a bad fight for those Assault Marines without their Sergeant especially. Basically have to hit a good Merciless or a good jump on them, I think, to survive that. Apothecary runs. Force Commander runs. Just a bad approach altogether from the Space Marines there. Just didn't have enough. Sometimes you got to know when not to push, you know. Either wait and defend your natural stuff, which they're not doing right now because they pushed, or push another area. Tank Busters on the way for Rakbrooks. Orcs stealing more power. Look at them flood across the south of the map here. Grabbing this VP, grabbing this natural power. This power's already blue for the Orcs. In the northeast, contested power is going to be taken by the Space Marines. They fully genned it up, look. Sparkky does have a large army here. Where's the librarian? Oh, he's there. He's capping. They are going to at least decap the VP. Probably take it. There's nothing really around for the Orks. Is it time for Unununium to go northeast and help out? Looks like maybe Retribution is looking to do so. There's a powerful Warboss with the Power Claw. Oh, Trophy Rack now as well, and the spiky armor. Just cleaved through some tactical marines there, I think. Merciless Strike goes in. Now much easier to use since 2992. Great change for that. Only have to set the direction you want to swing it and it'll go, rather than a starting point as well, which is a weird way to do it before. Warboss having fun in the back lines up to level 3. Yeah, need to be moving the attacks around more. Redgaarden can't be taking those free hits from the Warboss. Make him work for it, you know. Make him chase you around and get frustrated. Here comes a Dreadnought. Melee Walker for the Space Marines. You can get ranged upgrades for this guy, but he's happy to just crush them with his Dreadnought fists for now. Can he finish off those shooter boys there? The wrist-mounted flamer trying to do work. Big blob of Orks for him to wade into. Apothecary shows up. Level 2. Sanguine Chainsaw, those heals on hit. Tank Buster gets a volley. Second volley. Look at the damage on that Dreadnought. Tank Busters are really good at their job. That was an Emperor's Fist. Tank Busters needed to be moved quicker than that, though. They did a lot. That was like 3 or 4 volleys. That was a lot of damage. Apothecary's on them, though. They're going to need to run, I think. Assault Squad also running. Attacks with the Sergeant. Dreadnought, though, facilitates the push. And they should be able to at least decap this VP back. Trying to get their natural power back, or not. Librarian abandons it. For someone else to do. These guys trying to steal this one. What else do you have, Mr. Kommando? Sneaky infiltration kit. Oh, Venjitron's got a Thunderhammer. And a teleporter pack. It's a big investment in the Force Commander there. Sparkky, no war gear. Stormboy's jumping over the scary Force Commander. Ow, no. Right in front of the devs, though, and they got messed up. A misclick there, maybe. They jumped towards the devs, but then didn't engage them. They just, like, walked away, got into their firing path, and got messed up by the Heavy Bolter. Space Marines stabilizing on southwestern VP. They have TACs, they have a Dreadnought, they have a Plasma Cannon. Might see this thing grab the Assault Cannon. Gretchen's on the field for Unununium, and a Nob Squad on the way to Stuck in Quarantine. 371 to 365. Big swings in this game. Stuck in Quarantine just lost most of their army, basically. We saw Venjitron lose most of their army at some point. Gretchen's are repair crew, suggesting Unununium's going to get a looted tank, maybe. Or straight into a battle wagon, perhaps. So much for stabilizing the southwest. Orks just piling through. Brute force. Devastator's terrified of the sluggers getting in. And it's the Warboss who's capping. Power bash here as well. That gen's already low, fellas. Should be shooting that. Use your Orky brains. Nope, they want the no. Here comes the Dreadnought. Plodding along. Unununium and Retribution both have tank busters. Nob Squad on the way for Retribution. And here's the Nob Squad for Stuck in Quarantine. Already have their Nob leader. Now going for the Hammers. Oh, and there's a Dreadnought from Sparkky. Some momentum rings popping up, but they do not have Meaner and Greener, so they can't use their Frenzy, these Orks here. These Nob Squad, I should say. Tank Busters trying to get some range in. Mekboy levels to 3. Dreadnought does back off. And the Nob Squad are chasing. Turns for Emperor's Fist. And decides to go in. It's a risky fight for the Dreadnought. But the Nob Squad back off there. And one dies. I think they should have stayed in the Nob Squad, maybe. Not enough support near them, perhaps. Battle wagon on the way indeed for Unununium. Are both the Dreadnoughts still melee? Yes, they are. Another Razorback up for Venjitron that can support these guys for in-field reinforcement. Hey, we got Da Boy's Hut. Very rarely get to see this thing. Created by those Gretchens, provide some buffs. 345 to 309. Force Barrier doing some work. Trying to power bash Apothecary. Heals himself and runs. Nob Squad coming in. They have their Nob Leader and Mina and Greener for Rakbrooks. Battle Wagon almost on the field. Can get very tight down here in the southwest. There's not a lot of room to maneuver. Trying to avoid those plasma cannon shots could be tough. That one hit the Warboss pretty good. Level 3. But these guys are going to need to flee. Getting debuffed by the trophy rack as the Warboss gets close. Mekboy gets in there with some suppression too. Dreadnought's had enough of these Orks. Emperor's Fist. Now tries to leave though. Does get away. Some tank busters giving chase. Terminators. No, it's a drop pod with Tactical Marines. Oh, sorry, Stern Guard Veterans, not Tactical Marines. For Venjitron. Razorback could go down. Yeah, Power Claw Warboss is there. Venjitron isn't moving it. Down it goes. Stern Guard. Oh, with for the Emperor. Using Hellfire to tear through some shooter boys here. Hellfire rounds are acidic rounds that do damage over time. These Stern Guard veterans can change their ammo on the fly. Looks like those shooter boys are going to wipe. Rakbrooks was too busy with the Warboss and the Nob Squad. Warboss does go down. Razorback went down. Nob Squad make it out. And down goes the Mekboy. The Stern Guard doing some work, eh? Meanwhile, what is this? That's a Force Commander fleeing. No war gear, I think, for Sparkky. Goes tier 3, though, so it could see and goes down. Could see a Terminator Force Commander, I guess. Here's the Battle Wagon of Unununium. Loading up with boys and doing a spin, apparently. Now going southwest. There's a big old zap gun on shot and some shooters. And if you have a unit inside, all those shooters will fire and you'll get a speed boost. I think it's +1. Oh, big zap gun shot here. Does that wipe the Stern Guard? It does wipe the Stern Guard. I guess Venjitron was not paying attention to those fellas. Here's the Assault Squad getting Thunder and Lightning jumping in. Jumping maybe a bit early. They're just going to get wrecked by the Battle Wagon here, I think. Double Plasma Cannons, though. Battle Wagon trying to run stuff over. Here comes a whole bunch of Space Marines. Missile launch attacks are in there. And there's a Las Cannon too. Getting some good rear arm hits. Has to run over some friendly Orks to get away. Which is fine. Tank Buster time with a Nob Squad and Sacred Standard Force Commander for Sparkky. The constant buffs. Dreadnought, I think, is going to go down though. Yes, it does. More Tank Busters back there with the Battle Wagon. As I said, just very good at their job. Tank Buster Barrage disrupting some tacks back there. Nob Squad held up a bunch of stuff, but they took a ton of damage. Another Nob Squad gets through. 99 to 309. Dreadnought still going. This one anyway. Battle Wagon able to support from afar, maybe. Dreadnought still going. Tank Buster barrages. One of them actually predicted the path of the Dreadnought quite well there, but the Dreadnought survives. Force Commander gets knocked over. Sparkky now has a Thunderhammer. Into Artificer. Thunderhammer is a really disruptive weapon. You can use it to knock down the Nob Squads, which do not like to be knocked down. Typically that's the way you deal with them, because they can break suppression by themselves, they can resist damage by themselves, but they can't stop being knocked all over the place. Now the Mekboy can stop them being knocked all over the place, but he's down at the moment. 73 to 309, big VP lead for the Space Marines, you know. Been a very topsy-turvy, messy game so far. That boy's hut is going to crumble. Down it goes. And the Battle Wagon is very low. Nob squad compiling out. There's another Nob squad. Big retreat. Still double plasma cannons here. And these, this last cannon isn't set up and it's a very strange place. Tried a decent shot. These guys trying to go around the edge. 73 to 287. Good shot there. And another one. Librarian taking the natural VP back. Nob squad looking after this one. And stealing power here are sluggers. Kicking off in the southwest. Tank buster barrage for disruption. Nob squad now trying to go in and take advantage of it. Oh, they don't need to. Those guys just fled. Las Cannon can't do much against the Nob squad, so they are going to take the VP here, the Orks. And maybe they can get a revival on some of these Orky heroes. Perhaps Rackbrooks can do it. Oh, they both repurchased. Mekboy's got a Mega Rumbler on the way. That's handy for teleporting into all these setup teams and disrupting them. Level 5 Force Commander for Sparkky. Level 4 for Venjitron. Put for the Emperor on himself there, I think, the Force Commander. Didn't do much with it, though. 73 to 266. Trying to revive the Apothecary. Gets it. And then maybe goes down. No, Apothecary healed him, I think. And he gets away. Battle Wagon with the big zap gun shots. They ran away and moved, but they still got knocked over. Do they still have tank busters around? They have one tank buster now. 3 Nob squads, though. And I think the Kommando top of the map going for the natural. It is a sneaky Kommando indeed. Las Cannon's getting shots. Sprinting around. I think maybe Veil of Time is on these guys, but isn't being rendered for some reason. Warboss comes in, though, and cracks one to death. A Rocks on retreat path. That's a pretty good one. Doing some really good work there. Almost killed the Warboss, though. Not sure whose Rocks that was. Probably Rackbrooks, perhaps, from the look of his red. And the fact that he was the Warboss in there. Frenzy popped by the Nob squad. Drop pod coming in again with more Sternguard veterans of Venjitron. Trying to get rid of the plasma cannons, and they do. Nob squad getting away safely. Orks take the southwest for a triple cap here. Looks like the Kommando is ready to harass the Librarian. Librarian's sprinting through, and there's another Librarian. Start a library. Level 3 Dreadnought with Dark Age of Technology. Staying in melee. Inspiration now increases damage by 24%. That's crazy. That's stacked with Sacred Standard as well. Zap gun. Hit some stuff. Las Cannon setting up in a very dicey area. Gets run over. Shotgun blast well timed there. Can they get this Dreadnought down? For the Emperor on that Las Cannon Dev squad up there. Dreadnought still around, not for long though. Dreadnought goes down. Kept going for ages there. And Rackbrook's Nob squad was wiped in that fight. That's a decent trade, I think. A Dreadnought that did huge. It was a level 3 Dreadnought though, with Dark Age, but Nob squad is so expensive. More Commandos for Rackbrooks. More Nobs for stuck in quarantine. Tons of red for Redgaarden, not using it. Some Angels of Death used maybe would have helped him out a few times. On that nuke especially. Commandos getting their Nob leader. Very versatile squad with good damage, disruption, and they can fast cap. Even had an anti-vehicle weapon as a burner bomb. And a Nob squad coming in. Thunderhammer trying to disrupt them. And frustrate them, doing a decent job so far. Stuck in Quarantine does have a nuke available. Look at the float for Unununium. Over 1,000 rec, over 500 power. Need to spend it. Need to spend it. 73 to 64 is very close on the VPs. Very close. Librarian trying to get their natural back, the blue team. For the red team. The Sluggers are on the southwest. Here comes the Force Commander of Venjitron. And another drop coming in. This time Assault Terminators for Sparkky. Bit more like it. For the Emperor thrown on them immediately. And they're going to go after the Battle Wagon with the Thunderhammers. Just butting them with the shields first off. Single cap for the Orks now. It's very close. Look at the damage on the Battle Wagon now. Love the Daka. I think they were trying to hit the Force Commander with it, but he was too close. And is now wrecking those commandos. They need to run, I think. They are indeed running. Triple commandos for Rackbrooks. Warboss still down in the level 6 Warboss as well. One of the commandos wiped. The Battle Wagon survives. And Unununium is now spending resources again. Flash gets on the way. Triple Nob Squad for Stuck in Quarantine. And they could win it if they just hold the two naturals up here. Matches on these maps, this one and Typhon Arena, often gravitate towards the north because of the two VPs up there. After a bunch of fighting on the southwest. I think one of the Space Marine players needs to go up there and help because of the two VPs. Looks like Sparkky is responding to it. But of course that could lead them to losing the southwest. GG says Rackbrooks. There's a 1-to-1 though. Scouts running away there. And Space Marines getting this back. Single for the red team. They haven't won it yet, those Orks. Down to 3 VPs though, the Space Marines. It's very dicey. More Terminators in. Got a heavy flamer. For Redgaarden. Can they get something going here? The Space Marines rocket killed the Devastators there. That was quite fun. Got a good shot though. Uh-oh. Lightning Claw Terminators. Very, very scary fellas. 51 to 3. Stuck in Quarantine. Floating a lot of resources. 4 knobs of fun, they say. Does that mean they want another one? Land Raider Redeemer on the way for Venjitron. Could be too little too late. This is nicely done by Unununium in the east to get the VP. 1-to-1 cap. Nothing here to stop this though. I think the Orks are going to win with that cap in the east there. Just need it for a few seconds. Land Raider's going to come too late. There's more commandos for Rackbrooks. Warboss still down too. Would have made a huge difference down here if he was up. There's the 2-to-1 though, and there is the victory for the Orks. Had a level 3 commando. Typically quite sneaky, I think. Level 5 Mekboy with that death gun and Mega Rumbler. Warboss was down. Was quite dangerous though with Power Claw and stuff. He was, there he is, level 6. Force Commander's level 6, down. And level 7 with that Thunderhammer at the end, Sparkky. And the Apothecary level 8. Oh, Anointed Power Axe at the end. There you have it, guys. Thank you for watching. Big thanks to these players for taking part in a faction war. More than one player sent this in. So thanks to them too. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time.